Okie Albert Al Kite Jr. was 53 when he found the place he hoped to grow old in, a neat two-story townhome on South Helena Street in Aurora, Colorado, just east of Denver. Divorced but content, Al spent weekdays handling project accounting contracts, weekends hiking the Rockies, and every single night ended with a brief phone call to his girlfriend Linda just to say goodnight. Everyone who knew him described him as steady, reliable, and unfailingly punctual. Early in May 2004, looking to offset the mortgage, Al placed a short newspaper ad for a roommate. Dozens of people called, but one voice stood out, a polite man who introduced himself as Robert Cooper. Cooper said he had just moved from the East Coast to start a job at Wells Fargo. He spoke with what neighbors would later describe as an Eastern European, maybe Romanian accent, and he moved with a slight limp, leaning on a cane. He promised to pay cash and produced what looked like a flawless credit report. On Tuesday, 18th May, Cooper met Al in person, toured the house, signed a lease, and handed over half a month's rent, plus a security deposit. 3 days later, on Friday the 21st, he arrived to move in, carrying only 2 suitcases. He brought no furniture, no friends, no obvious past. Al gave him a key and what was meant to be a fresh start. Saturday, 22nd May, began quietly. In the morning, Al drove Linda to Denver International Airport for a short trip she was taking with family. When she landed later that afternoon, he picked up the phone as always, told her the new roommate seemed nice enough, and promised they would talk the next day. It was the last time anyone who loved Al heard his voice. Sometime late that night, or in the dark hours before dawn, the house on South Helena Street turned into a trap. Investigators believe Robert Cooper ambushed his landlord in the basement. Using zip-style bindings, he hog-tied Al's wrists to his ankles, immobilizing him on the floor. What followed was prolonged torture, hours of pain made worse by the fact that the weapons were Al's own kitchen knives. Cooper stabbed him again and again. One brutal thrust nearly decapitated him. Medical examiners would later count dozens of wounds and conclude that Al had been kept alive for much of the ordeal. The killer then took his time erasing himself. He filled the kitchen sink with bleach and dropped in the blood-stained knives, Al's truck key, a drinking glass, anything he had touched. He wiped counters, collected trash, and even showered. He missed only one detail, a single drop of his own blood that spattered onto the basement stairs. Around 8 p.m. Sunday evening, the nightmare moved outside. Surveillance cameras at a nearby Wells Fargo branch captured Al's red GMC pickup rolling into the drive-through ATM. Behind the wheel sat a driver wearing a full ski mask and gloves. Calmly, methodically, the masked man withdrew about $1,000 using Al's PIN, then drove away. Minutes later, the pickup was abandoned on a side street just 1 block from Al's townhouse. Al's cell phone surfaced later in a payphone booth miles north of the crime scene. Monday, 24 May, dawned with an unsettling silence. Al did not show up for work, did not answer his phone, and did not return Linda's morning call. Concerned coworkers requested a welfare check. Aurora police arrived to find the house tidy, almost serene, until they reached the basement. There they discovered Al's body, still bound, the bleach-clouded sink upstairs, and no sign at all of the man calling himself Robert Cooper. Detectives quickly realized Cooper was a phantom. The Social Security number on his rental application belonged to no one. The Wells Fargo job never existed. Every reference he had provided rang to disposable cell phones already disconnected. When investigators canvassed other roommate ads from that week, they discovered Cooper had responded to several of them, as if shopping for a victim who lived alone. What little could be pieced together came from eyewitness fragments. Cooper appeared white, in his mid-40s to early 50s, about 5'10", 170 to 180 pounds, with brown hair and brown or hazel eyes. He spoke fluent, lightly accented English, could turn his head to avoid security cameras, and apparently could fake or drop the limp at will. In short, he was a chameleon who planned every detail in advance. The lone droplet of the killer's blood yielded a full DNA profile, but it matched no one in the national database. Years later, forensic genealogy labs tried to trace family lines. Still nothing. The case remains active, but progress is slow. No fingerprints, no usable face on video, no verifiable name. All that's left is a meticulous crime scene, a handful of eyewitness descriptions, and the indelible image of a ski-masked figure calmly pulling cash from a drive-thru. Today, 2 decades on, Aurora police and the FBI still believe Robert Cooper may have killed before or since, and that he is alive, hidden behind yet another alias. They urge anyone who remembers a polite renter with an Eastern European accent, a limp and a cane in Colorado in May 2004 to come forward. Even a single recollection, a voice, a gesture, a name overheard in passing could give Okie Al Kite the justice he was denied.